Right, you all know it finished West Ham United nil, Arsenal 6. In this quick show, I am previewing the David Moyes press conference after the game. Again, very, very interesting comments. Not really surprising. Again, quite defensive in a lot of ways, like he normally is. And yeah, full of rubbish here and there, like he always normally is as well. Again, not surprising in some of the comments that I reckon are for the West Ham fans that are complaining about him. So it's a bit of that. Yeah, let's get straight into it. Really, really, yeah, awful day today. It was always coming up to this day, you know. And again, before I go into it, not really surprising for me. I'm surprised that hasn't happened more often, because we've been set up in the same shitty way, same formations, same philosophy of attacking, which is fuck all. And yeah, it kind of was going to happen anyway, and unfortunately happened against, yeah, Arteta's Arsenal, Declan Rice's Arsenal, really. But anyway, yeah, press conference. This is not the one that where they do the interview with the Sky cameras more or less straight after the game. This is a little bit later on in kind of the press conference room at West Ham. And again, I expected more challenging questions from the reporters, you know, and questions like, it was obvious to see that you needed an attacker. Why didn't you buy a striker? Do you regret that now? I would have really done some pressing questions about Broja going to Fulham, Diaz going off to Sheffield United, one or two other things you could have done. You got rid of Ben Rama, Fornals scored a cracking goal straight away, you know, and we hadn't seen that from Fornals. So a little bit of that thing like David Moyes, is it true? It looks like you curtail people with skill and kind of that kind of thing, and they turn more into their defensive duties, and only when they leave West Ham they begin to express themselves again and become what they were when they signed for you. I really wanted questions like that, but it wasn't a very testing environment the reporters set. And basically he starts off by saying it's hard to explain why they were so poor. So he can't explain why they're so poor. He says when it was 0-0, he didn't think that Arsenal were going to go the way they did in the game, right? Even though, without being precise about it, when it was 0-0, they must have had 4, 5, 6 corners, right? And if that's not telling you anything, I don't know what is. And you know David Moyes, he refuses to change anything. And I always tell you, there's no rule in the book that says you can't make a substitution after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes before half time. Of course you can. Of course you got to be proactive. Of course you got to be honest with yourself. It's a squad game. A player has to take it on the chin. If he has to go off after 20 minutes, if he's a proper player, he's a proper squad player, he should understand that it's for the better of the team, right? And yeah, he says it wasn't looking like that. I mean, I was, just before the goal happened, I just said to my son watching that, it's got to go in. You cannot give away this much possession, this many free kicks, this many corners. It's corner after corner after corner after corner. It's going to go in, because in the modern game, I think we saw it at the Man United Villa game after, with that many people in and around the box, especially with West Ham, who don't really have an idea of how to plan. I think they do zonal marking, like I told you, is a load of bullshit. You got all the defenders at the back defending, but they're not actually marking anyone. What's the fucking point? What's the point, right? Communication shit between Areola and the defenders anyway, as Areola's weakest point is coming out. He does not command his box like he should. He doesn't come out like he should. Good shot stopper and things like that, but that he doesn't do well, right? So he's like, again, talking out of his back fucking arse, saying, yeah, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, we were fucking never in the game from the first minute, right? So that's kind of that. And then he goes into things like, yeah, we haven't lost many like that since he's been back at West Ham as manager. So again, going in a different direction, instead of focusing on the game and looking at our recent form, right? And I'm talking about the lucky draw at Bournemouth, lucky draw at Brighton, you know, thrashings at Fulham, really crap display, 3-0 at Man United last week, the shitty displays against Bristol. This is all recent shit. We've been fucking crap. And I've been embarrassed to pick up points in some of the games and totally baffled how we fucking done it. And I've said that to you in this channel. I've said that on other fans' channels. Absolute bollocks. And again, he starts going down a different alleyway talking about, his record, how great he is, and he hasn't lost that many. And before I go into the next bit on the back of this, let's go into a different direction. I'll come back into David Moyes sort of, blowing his own trumpet and things like that. And then he said, oh yeah, it's hard trying to integrate new players, attacking players. So along with the bullshit in the press conference, he starts talking about that, as well as other things that are hard to do. It's difficult, and I am trying to integrate two players. Who the fuck are these two players? Who are these new players? Who are these new attacking players? And again, what he normally does before the window, before any transfer window, especially the one in Christmas, he's a stuck-up, stubborn little shit and always tells the press, I don't want anyone. I'm happy with what I've got. You've seen my record. You know how we're doing. If there's someone out there, I'll think about it. I don't fucking want anyone. As soon as the window shuts, the usual copy and paste. Oh yeah, it's very difficult. We tried. It's difficult. Couldn't get in. But anyway, we're very happy with what we've got. Then as the results fucking turn in the business end of the season, then he starts coming out with, yeah, we could do with a few more flair players. We could do with a few more options. But hey, we got what we got. We're happy with what we got. And you've seen what we done before. Same fucking violin playing again. And then he goes, oh, him and his staff are all responsible, including the players, in the dressing room for what happened today. And he's going to look at it and see what they could have done differently. So David Moyes is going to look at his staff, sit down with his staff and think about how they could have done things differently. This is a manager who's never changed his formation or setup in 3-4 years he's been back at West Ham in his second spell. He never makes any substitutions apart from the usual 75th, 80th minute, the usual shit, yeah? What he could have done differently. He doesn't listen to any of his coaches. His coaches that have all left him have said that. They've all left after a year and a half. It's embarrassing, the high turnover of staff in his coaching setup. They all say he doesn't listen, he's stubborn. We feel wasted, that our knowledge, our kind of hearsay and our views are just stuck in the bin, and he just does what he wants all the time, right? And he's saying what he could have done differently. He doesn't do anything differently. Doesn't matter who the opposition are. Doesn't matter what's going on in the game. He doesn't do anything from the bench. Absolutely fuck all. So again, absolute garbage comment from David Moyes. And then obviously, then he goes, you must remember the history of the club. Only 3 months ago, we won a cup. So the fans have to, think about that as well. That comment had nothing to do with this match. But he knows back of his mind, he's getting pelters in the media. He's under pressure from the board a little bit now. I fucking hope so, right? And that's why he starts, again, not admitting he's wrong properly. You know when there's honesty and someone holds his hands up and says, I fucked up. He never does that. He might do garbage political comment that means nothing. And then he goes back to patting himself on the back, blowing his own trumpet. I won a trophy. This club's always relegated. I've stopped them twice from being relegated. We were lifting the European trophy 3 months ago. We mustn't forget that. And things like that. He must know he's on the way out. Starts blowing his trumpet and things like, I'm proud of what I've achieved here, and fuck off, mate. So that's a load of bollocks on there. But I thought I dissect it for you. I thought I'd summarise it for you. So I hope you've enjoyed it, although there's not been a lot to enjoy recently with David Moyes. Even on this day, take this match out the window. It's been shit anyway, right? I'm hopefully going to be back later on this evening with a live show with Frankie. So Frankie will be back, and hopefully one other guest. It'll be a live show, live Q&A with the fans, more about you guys and us. So put your views in the chat and we will answer each question that we can. So take care, and we'll catch up soon with the live West Ham fans. Show everyone. Take care.